presented by Honda. We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Welcome to Rogers Center, and that is not a photoshopped picture. That's snow, and it's snowing again outside, but thankfully we are indoors and in the safety of Rogers Center. John Gibbons Ball Club anxious to play. They have not played since Friday in Cleveland when they had that terrific comeback win against the Indians. Let's take a look at Ned Yost's lineup here. The Kansas City Royals in town for the first time this season. Ned Yost, the longest tenured manager in Royals history, is in his 9th season at the helm of Kansas City. Take a look at their lineup. Top of the order, John Jay. Whit Merrifield is batting second. Mike Moustakas. He's got a 7-game hit streak. For the season, he's hitting .327 during the hit streak. Almost .450. He is back with Kansas City after signing as a free agent. And Paulo Orlando getting more playing time since Alex Gordon has gone on the DL. He's making the most of it. He's in center field, and he has good numbers against the Blue Jays.
And the Jays are going to send Jaime Garcia to the mound for game number 1 this afternoon. Garcia making his 3rd start of the season. He's coming off an April 8th outing at Texas when he pitched into that 6th inning. Just gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits. That was his first win as a Blue Jay. Normally a ground ball machine, but against the Rangers, just 3 ground ball outs, Buck. And one of those was a sacrifice bunt, if you remember. 5 career starts versus the Royals. Hasn't faced them, though, since 2015, picking up his only win that year with 8 shutout innings. So he gets the assignment for game number 1 this afternoon.
Well, defense, as Pat mentioned, normally it's the infield is so important because he is a ground ball pitcher. In the outfield, it's Hernandez, Pilar, and Grichuk, and Smoke over at first. Another good year with the gloves so far.
Yeah, he hasn't made an error this year. 13 starts, all of them over at first base for the Blue Jays. A .905 zone rating for Smoke. So Smokey gets the call today. He's been outstanding. I can count on my hands how many balls he's already saved the infielders on picking balls that on some low throws. He's been outstanding so far this year.
One of the best at picking those one-hoppers out of the dirt. So we are set, and boy, it's been a long time since the Blue Jays have played. As we mentioned, they haven't played since Friday in Cleveland when they had the terrific comeback win. And they are set. Blue Jays are 9-5, off to a great start this season. Garcia is set. John Jay in the batter's box, and here's the first pitch of the ball game. Down and away for a ball, and we are underway. John Jay, 11 for 46 so far this season. He's done a nice job getting on base. .352 on base percentage with 8 walks.
It's going to be interesting to watch in this first game for Jaime Garcia. You mentioned how he hasn't pitched in so long. It's been 9 days in between starts. He's a sinker ball slider type of pitcher. You've got to figure he's really strong right now. These types of pitchers, the more they work, the better they are.
Good job by Russell Martin receiving that low strike. It's 1-2 to John Jay. That's a great point. You like to see sinker ballers, especially guys that move the ball a lot, to work on regular time.
Work on a regular time, and he has a strict routine that he likes to stick to.
Slider for a strikeout. Martin will go to first to complete the strikeout. That slider was a great weapon for Garcia in his start against the White Sox.
It's been a great weapon in his first 2 starts of this season. He's been using it with a little bit more regularity, and his chase percentage is 10% higher this year than it was last year. So he's using it in those types of situations where he needs the strikeout, and he'll get the chase.
So with 1 out, Whit Merrifield will step in. Merrifield, the second baseman in this Royals lineup. Just off the plate away. Merrifield, a couple of doubles. He hasn't homered yet, and he has driven in 2. Top of the order, they got a little bit of speed if they can get on base, but they have really struggled offensively. They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, and don't let his size, Merriweather's size, fool you. He has some pop in that bat. Likes to pull the ball, and when he gets the head out, he can hit some home runs.
19 homers and 78 RBIs last year. His first full season in the big leagues. He also led the American League in stolen bases. Lots of movement for Garcia. He falls behind 3-0. Ned Yost, it's good to see him in the dugout. He had a frightening accident, a life-threatening accident. Fell out of a deer stand in his home, but he's back and happy to be here. That's the strike, but Russell Martin had such a tough time with the movement. It's ball 4. Russell, in his own admission, said it's a real challenge to catch Jaime Garcia because everything he throws moves.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting again. He's very strong. You can see the outstanding movement. That's a cutter that Russell can't handle. He's strong because he hasn't pitched in a game for 9 days. He's been doing some side work. He actually threw some in Cleveland after that game was called the other day. So we'll see how that plays out, especially early in the game.
This is Mike Moustakas. First pitch strike. Moustakas, in limited at-bats, has had success against Garcia. He's 3 for 5 against the lefty. Moustakas re-signed as a free agent after testing the free agent market and not getting many offers. Ended up back in Kansas City.
These are the two guys, Moustakas now and Duda behind him, that you have to be careful with. Wow.
Well, it's tough on the home plate umpire, just like it is on the catcher with all the movement. Ed Hickox is the home plate umpire. But what a catcher can do early in this game is say, hey, stick with that baseball. It's moving all over the place. Don't call it too early.
That one was an easy one to call. It bounced it up there. Big difference right now. You know, that second pitch, if it's called a strike, now Garcia's dealing 0-2 and he can expand the strike zone. But because it was called a ball, 1-1, you got to be almost perfect.
Big lead at first, and Garcia will chase Merrifield back. As we mentioned, Merrifield led the American League last year with 34 stolen bases.
Was only thrown out 8 times all season. This year, a little bit of a slow start, just 1 for 2. But a threat to steal, so you got to keep an eye on him.
He's running. Throw to first. Smokes throw to second is a good one, and they tag him up. Jaime Garcia read it perfectly. Merrifield got a little over anxious and broke for second. Smoke did a nice job with a strong throw.
He had a huge lead over at first base, so I think the Blue Jays had an idea that he might be trying to steal a base here. Justin Smoke does a great job of clearing himself from that base runner to get inside that base line and make a good throw to get the out at second base.
Caught stealing 1-3-6 as Merrifield is caught for the second time this season. Ground ball. Travis in the outfield takes it on the hop, and that's it for the Royals. So Jaime Garcia does a nice job. They catch with Merrifield stealing. 3 up, 3 down. Eric Skoglund will take them out when we come back. Start, and they have Not played since Friday, as we mentioned, and they are chomping at the bit to get out on the field and play another game. They've done a great job. They're 8-0 when they've scored at least 4 runs a ball game, so that's been the magic number for them. And Everett Solarte, the third baseman on the road trip, had a terrific road trip. Look at the walks. 8 walks on the road trip, and he was on base just about every time you looked up. Kevin Pillar's got a 6-game hit streak, batting over 360 with a triple and a couple of RBIs. He seems to be more comfortable when he's down toward the bottom of the lineup.
Got that average up over 300. Again, Blue Jays will face Eric Skoglund, all 6'7" of him, his second start of the season. There are his numbers. Skoglund, this is his second start of the season. Like I said, only his 7th major league start, 9th appearance and first against the Jays. Last time out, he lost to the Mariners.
There's a line drive in the right. Steve Pearce, with one swing of the bat, extends his hit streak to 7 straight games.
Well, another guy that had a great road trip right there, Steve Pearce. 3 home runs on the road trip. He starts this afternoon's first game with this line drive to right field. Little inside out swing to stay on that ball. Skoglund will pound that cutter inside, and he just fights it off.
Teoscar Hernandez has played just 1 game. He had a terrific game Friday in his season debut. A couple of doubles he drove into and chipped in with a stolen base.
Yeah, he showed some power also. He made some adjustments to his swing after he came over to the Blue Jays from the Astros organization, lowered his hands. He feels like he can be a power hitter. You know, not your 30 to 35 home run, but he feels like he can pop the ball out of the ballpark.
Blue Jays getting their first look at Skoglund. So they're probably going to want to look at a few pitches as they come to the plate. He was drafted out of University of Central Florida. Grew up in Sarasota, Florida. Inside.
He was a 3rd round pick in 2014. He's got a great opportunity with the Royals organization since he has come up. They're in a basically rebuilding mode. He has 4 2/3 innings in his last start against the M's.
Swing and a miss as Hernandez strikes out. That's the first out of the inning. Let's take a look at the Royals defensively. And the outfit is Jay, Orlando, and Soler. And over at first base, the former Met, former Ray, Lucas Duda.
Yeah, big shoes to fill, I think, taking over for Eric Hosmer, who signed with San Diego. It's a big bat, 58 extra base hits last year. He signed late, and he was telling me this morning, he says he's very excited about being in Kansas City.
Justin Smoke. Smoke average now at 288, and he's kind of cooled off somewhat. He hadn't homered in 10 games. Both of his home runs came in the same game against the Yankees.
Of those left-handed pitchers. Skoglund goes back over to first base. Not really a running threat over there for Pierce. Maybe just to keep him a little bit closer, but if you want a free base hit, I'm going to call it a free base hit. Look at the right side of the infield that Justin Smoke has to shoot for.
In the air. Orlando backing up. He's got room in front of the warning track. He makes the catch. Pierce will go back to first as Smoke flies out to center. 2 away. Well, you're right. They play him to pull, pitch him inside. They're flirting with danger in my mind. But this time, Skoglund wins out with the fly ball to center, and that'll bring Everett Solarte to the plate.
Just got enough of it off the barrel of the bat, but he had a good swing at it.
Solarte, we mentioned his great road trip. 7 for 22 with a double, a home run, and 8 walks. He likes to swing the bat, doesn't he, Pat?
Yeah, that's why you're a little bit surprised with the amount of walks that he has had. There are his numbers in his career versus the Royals. Yeah, he likes to swing it and let go up there, especially with runners on base. but he has shown patience, and he's gotten himself into good fastball counts. And when he does get in fastball counts, that's where he's hit his 2 home runs this year.
Last home run came in Texas, and it was a no-doubter. Over 400 feet down the right field line, back into the concourse.
Yeah, his first one wasn't a cheapie either against Stellan Betances that he turned on right here in this ballpark. It's been a nice surprise for the Blue Jays early on.
Really has. In every aspect, defensively, at the plate, and especially in the clubhouse. He is a free spirit that loves to pump the emotions of his teammates, and he will show his emotions.
And just loves to play the game. Players like that will rub off on other players.
Ball in the dirt. Cam Gallagher is the catcher starting in game 1. Of course, Salvador Perez, their great all-star Gold Glove catcher, is on the DL, just started a rehab assignment over the weekend. So Gallagher starts in game 1. Drew Butera more than likely will start in game 2. Butera has been doing the majority of the catching since Perez has been out. Outside, 2-2.
It's been a rough start for the Kansas City Royals this year, not just weather-wise and losing games. You mentioned the injury to Salvador Perez. He hurt himself not doing a baseball activity. Carrying some luggage up some stairs, he tripped and really hurt his knee.
Outside. Boy, this is one thing. For as much as Solarte likes to swing, he's got a good eye at the plate. We mentioned the fact that he has 10 walks and has struck out just 5 times.
She'll get a good one to hit here. 3-2, 2 outs. So Duda, the first baseman's going to play behind Pierce. He should get a nice little running start here.
There goes Pierce. Cut out and gone. Way out of here. Get out of here, ball, and gone. Did he ever get a nice one to hit? For Solarte, home run number 3, and the Blue Jays have a quick 2-0 lead here in the first.
Look how happy he is that the Blue Jays are playing games again. It feels like they haven't played for a while. 3 days, in fact, and with one swing, gives the Blue Jays the lead very quickly. Impressive at bat for Solarte, because remember, he fell behind 0-2 and then finally got himself a fastball and crushed that ball to left field.
Solarte has reached base in every game he has played. Yeah, he likes it. Boy, that was a no-doubter. He got his pitch, and he didn't miss it.
Yeah, fought back to 3-2. You figure Skogland's going to come in there, and he can admire that one.
So Russell Martin bats with nobody on and 2 away. Another look at this home run swing. Martin strikes out. That ends the inning. A couple of strikeouts, but with one swing of the bat, Yervis Solarte, a 2-run home run, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead.
However, in his previous start, he gave up more fly balls than ground balls. How much more? Well, consider this. In Garcia's season debut, his ground ball rate sat at 67%. In his last start, just 20%. So why the big discrepancy? Well, Garcia admitted post-game that, you know what, when you see me go up high in that strike zone, sometimes it is by design. He said he likes to change eye levels, switch things up from start to start. The goal, he told me, is to keep batters off balance. Quote, so be aware when I'm going up, sometimes it's on purpose. His catcher in Texas, Luke Maley, echoed those sentiments, telling me there were a lot of what he called elevation counts. Plenty of situations in that game where it made sense to go high in the strike zone. According to Maley, Garcia threw a lot of off-speed pitches that day, Buck, and typically those are the ones that get put up in the air more so than fastballs.
Because a hitter's timing is offset, they'll be out on that front foot and get the pop-up. This is Lucas Duda.
And you're facing the Texas Rangers. The Rangers like to try to elevate the baseball. It's a great matchup for Jaime.
Duda, 32 years old, spent most of his big league career with the New York Mets. Started with the Mets in 2010, and then he was traded last year to Tampa Bay, and here he is in Kansas City for his first season.
Yeah, said there was an opening there after Eric Hosmer signed with San Diego. So he signed late, says he really likes the organization, loves the town. And right now they're struggling just a little bit, but he'll be a big bat for them. He and Moustakas are the only ones to hit home runs for the Royals so far this season.
Good fastball. Duda has a home run against Jaime Garcia. He's 2 for 5 with a homer. As you mentioned, the Royals have just 5 home runs as a team. There are 5 players that have more than 5 home runs. Bryce Harper hit a broken bat home run last night for his 8th. Charlie Blackmon has 7. Gallo, Trout, and Villanueva all have 6. More than the Royals as a team.
Did you see the Harper home run? That was unbelievable.
Ended up with a bat handle in his hand, and the ball went into the night.
406 feet away. That ball went after he cut his bat in half.
2 balls and 2 strikes. There's that slider. That's the pitch that Jaime can throw when he's ahead, and oftentimes he'll get hitters to chase. That time due to laid off.
I think younger hitters or hitters who aren't real familiar with Garcia might chase that slider, but dude, he's a good hitter. He gets it.
Full count. Ripped over Travis into right. Grichuk can't cut it off, but he plays it off the wall. Duda's going to stop it first. Nice play by Grichuk. He turned and got himself in position for the carom, and he holds Duda to a long single. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. So Duda at first and Jorge Soler at the plate. Soler batting just .216. First pitch strike. Always key for any pitcher, but it's really important for Jaime Garcia.
Stay right there and you should be fine. Induce those double plays. Get those ground balls right there. Ground ball percentage is high this year off of his slider. That's where he's getting most of his ground balls.
There's one of those elevated fastballs on purpose. Straightened up Soler.
Normally when that happens, when you go up and in like that, it's a change up, down and away. Something away from that hitter. So you can get that grounder.
Another fastball he misses. It's 2-1. It might take Garcia an inning or so to get his rhythm and timing. As we mentioned, it's been a while since he's pitched. But these are adjustments veteran pitchers can make on the fly.
Feeling strong. The fastball is really popping here in the first couple of innings.
Broken bat, little looper into center. Pilar is going to play it on a bounce. A broken bat single, back-to-back singles for the Royals here in the second.
I think that shows how strong Mr. Soler is. Sawed off. Pilar's playing him straight away in center field. He's not going to get it. Thought maybe Hernandez had a shot of maybe coming in, but no chance.
So 2 on and nobody out. Chesler Cuthbert.
He is a free swinger and likes that first pitch, so be careful on that first pitch.
Just off the plate outside for ball 1. Cuthbert had 12 home runs in 2016. That's when he played every day. He was a regular, got into 128 games, had 28 doubles and 12 homers. Got a little pop. Base hit through the left side. Hernandez comes up and they'll stop Duda at third. So 3 straight singles by the Royals and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
It's a team, the Royals, that have struggled to score runs this year, especially hitting with runners in scoring position. But there are 3 swings here in this inning. Duda got a pitch out over the plate. Soler got a broken bat hit, and this is a slider that he pulls through the hole. Hit too hard that Duda can't score.
The Royals have scored 2 runs or less in each of their 5 road games. But now they're threatening against Garcia here in the second. The Blue Jays lead it 2-0 on the home run by Yervis Solarte, his 3rd of the season. Paulo Orlando, the center fielder. Ground ball. Diaz goes to Travis's second, back to first. Double play. Nice scoop at first by Smoke. Pat, that's what you were talking about, is Smoke at first base. Digs one out.
Yeah, does it again. And the Blue Jays, did they ever need that one? No RBI for Orlando as he grounds into that double play. Travis with the low throw that time, but no problem for Smokey. Orlando can really run, but that ball got in on him. There's the turn, and Smokey picks it for the second out.
2 down for Alcides Escobar. He is a first pitch swinger. He goes up there hacking. 2 down. Soler at third. Called strike. Blue Jays might have got a call there. You can see Escobar. He sure was inside.
Still shaking his head. Not happy with that first pitch. Got to let that go.
Slider 0-2. Boy, there's the perfect example of how one call can turn an entire at bat around. Instead of 1-0, it was 0-1. He had to protect the plate.
And now he really has to protect the plate. 0-2.
This is where Russell's really got to be aware of that ball in the dirt. There it is.
He was expecting it. Did you see him get his glove down in the dirt while he shifted inside? He was anticipating that ball in front of home plate.
When you call for that slider, you have to think about where it will beat you, and it's to the left side, obviously, so he was cheating to the left side and had a good angle on it. One and two. Escobar does a nice job of shortening up and fouling off that borderline pitch.
Yeah, he had the wild swing for strike number 2. Now watch him. He's not even going to stride. He's going to try and track that ball as long as possible, so he doesn't strike out.
Escobar acting like it hit him, and they're going to award him first base. Caught him on that right foot, right on top of his foot. Didn't really sound like it hit him.
Well, let's see. You want to bury that breaking ball down and in and hit him right on the foot.
Boy, it sure did, right inside that right ankle.
Slider. Normally you can hear it hit the ground and then ricochet off the player, but that hit him flush.
So Escobar's at first, still 2 away. Solar is at third base. A run in for Kansas City here in the top of the second. This is Cam Gallagher, the catcher. He goes after the first pitch.
Backup catcher for Kansas City. Had a brother who played in the Dodgers organization. His father actually was a draft pick of the Blue Jays. Back in 1981, a third-round draft pick at Toronto.
Martins saved a couple of runs here with 2 blocks as he was able to square up that slider. I think this reflects the inactivity that Garcia has had.
Definitely. It might take, like we said last day, a couple innings for him to get a little more comfortable. He's thrown 33 pitches, 17 strikes and 16 balls. I think he needs to get settled in, maybe get a little tired, and then that ball starts sinking just a little bit more.
1-2. Garcia's ahead with 2 outs. Slider pulled foul. Kansas City 3-10 to start the season. It's their worst start since 2012 when they were also 3-10 after 13 games. And as we mentioned, they've lost 5 in a row. Changeup, he pulls foul.
He was on that one. Mentioned that his father was a draft pick of the Blue Jays. You know who was picked right after him? Tony Gwynn at pick number 58, that third round in 1981.
Oh, he's putting the bat on the ball, staying alive, keeping this inning going. Gallagher played winter ball this past winter in the Dominican Republic. Got into 16 games, actually hit .288. Ground ball. Solarte gives ground, but they get the lead runner at second, and that'll do it. So Kansas City, on the strength of 3 consecutive singles, they score on a double play, but the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
Night with the Blue Jays on Thursday, April 26th. The first 15,000 fans in attendance received this Josh Donaldson t-shirt. Join us pregame in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Buck?
Thank you very much. A Thursday night in the 6, always a happening night here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Kevin Pillar will lead things off for the Jays here. It'll be Pillar, Diaz, and Grichuk. 6, 7, and 8 in the Blue Jays lineup.
Look at that defense for Kevin Pillar, playing him the pull. Pillar's been taking what the pitchers have been giving him. They've been hitting the ball with authority the other way, pulling it when they try to jam him. I don't know about this defense.
Well, I really have a problem with defense when you play such a dramatic shift and the pitcher can't hit his spots. I mean, if he can't locate his pitches, you're really going to counteract your defense. There's a drive to center. Orlando is there. He'll make a chest-high catch, one away. But you set up your defense with the thought that your pitcher's going to execute his pitches and hit his spots.
And he hasn't been able to do that, so Blue Jays have to take advantage of that. Here is the numbers for Eric Skoglund. Just 8 major league appearances with nobody on base. They're hitting .356 against him, and they're hitting with runners on base also and in scoring position.
It's really interesting. He made his major league debut against the Tigers and actually beat Justin Verlander 1-0. There's a drive off the bat of Diaz.
Yeah, 6 1/3 innings in that game.
Interesting that after that game, everything has kind of been downhill for him. But he looked like a world beater when he took on the Tigers and Verlander. Aledmys Diaz has homered in back-to-back games. He had a big home run, a game-tying home run in Cleveland against Mike Clevenger. 6 of his 9 hits have gone for extra bases. That Clevenger at bat was one of the most interesting at bats we've seen all season long.
He must have thrown him 7, maybe even 8 curveballs the first pitches of that at bat. And he fell behind 2 strikes, got it to 3-2, finally got a fastball and clubbed it to center field.
That's off the pitcher's glove. Escobar tries a desperation play. It'll be an infield hit for Aledmys Diaz. Skoglund deflected the ball. It went up in the air, and the only guy that had a chance was the shortstop, but he didn't have much of a chance.
Yeah, bouncing on that turf. This one looked like it was going to go right to the second baseman, Merrifield, who was playing him up the middle also. But the first reaction from the pitcher is, let me reach out there, see if I can catch it myself. He deflects it into no man's land, and really no chance for Escobar to get the out. Stay hot.
Randall Grichuk, he's in need of a hot streak. Just 3 for 42 to start the season. I spoke with Randall during batting practice today, and I said, how you holding up? He says, I'm holding up all right. He said, you know, it's a tough stretch. He said, every once in a while you think, well, where's my broken bat single? Where's a little flare? Nothing's dropping.
Yeah, he's due. Gibby was talking about that the other day, that he feels he's getting really close.
There's a drive to center. Orlando's on the run. This ball is going to be caught right on the warning track. Grichuk has done that more than he would like to remember.
Well, when you come out of slumps, the first thing you have to do is start hitting the ball hard. And he's starting to hit the ball with a little bit more consistency and regularity. That ball was covered deep to center field. And I've noticed here in the first 2 innings how deep the outfielders, especially in left field and center field, they're playing here. I think the base runners have to take advantage of that, recognize that. You can see how deep Orlando is in center field. Anything hit up the middle, you got to go first to third.
Number 9 hitter Devin Travis. Travis, like Grichuk, just 3 hits for the season. He got off to a start like this last year, but then really caught fire in May. Gloved by Moustakas, or Cuthbert, excuse me, at third. He makes a nice play. Looked like Moustakas catching that ball. So tough luck for Travis. He hit it hard, but right to the third baseman. We'll go to the third. The Blue Jays have the lead. Cuthbert with a nice play takes a hit away from Devin Travis to end the inning.
On Sunday, so they are celebrating Jackie Robinson Day here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Every member of the Blue Jays is wearing Robinson's number 42. Curtis Granderson, who's not in the starting lineup, didn't stop with just the jersey. He's sporting custom cleats for the occasion. On one cleat, you see Robinson's face and number, and on the other, former Cleveland player Larry Doby, the second man to break the color barrier, the first in the American League. And Buck, the Royals have chosen to delay their celebration. The plan is to honor Jackie Robinson on June 25th to coincide with the unveiling of a new Jackie Robinson statue at the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City. And you know, Buck, if you're a baseball fan, that museum is on your bucket list.
It sure is, as Jackie Robinson came up with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. And in his first year, he was Rookie of the Year. He was also 28 years old. I think that's something that gets lost in all of the discussion about his great career. He didn't get a chance to play until he was 28. Played 10 years in Brooklyn.
You and I went to that Hall of Fame in Kansas City, and I'm telling you, if you make it to Kansas City to watch the Blue Jays play the Royals, you got to go over and check it out, because it was so cool to see some of those great old-time players. And Bob Kendrick, who took us around, who runs the museum, what a great baseball man.
Yeah, it's a great stop for any baseball fan, and for a Canadian baseball fan, there's a special touch. Yes. Geddy Lee has donated over 200 autographed baseballs from the Negro League players. A terrific display of great autographed baseballs donated by Rush's Geddy Lee. Foul tip, Russell Martin with a nice grab. John Jay strikes out. One away.
Well, that's a familiar sight right there for Jaime Garcia this year. His strikeouts per 9 keep going up. Last year it was about 7. This year 9.5. And tell you what, notice so far in this game, his fastball's got a lot of movement on it. A lot more movement that we have seen in his first 2 starts. Going straight down. He got that one underneath the swing of John Jay.
That's a breaking ball, more of a curveball that time, and Whit Merrifield takes it for ball 1. Merrifield walked his first time up. Merrifield was caught stealing when he broke early, and Garcia threw to first. Smoke made a terrific throw to second to gun down Merrifield.
Got to keep him off the bases in front of the home run hitters coming up.
Well, there's only 2 of them.
That's it. They're coming up. There's one of them right there. And there's the other one.
A ball and 2 strikes. Martin slides to the inside. And Garcia delivers. Boy, that was a wicked pitch with a lot of late movement. It really froze Merrifield.
He's getting that inside call also, so keep pounding it in there. Watch Russell Martin go to that spot and just hold it right there for the home plate umpire to call him out.
Remember the first inning that Garcia didn't get many of those borderline calls, and now he's had a couple of close ones go his way. There's another curveball on the first pitch.
Go soft early in the count and then finish him off with the fastball. He's had a great week. He has added 53 points to his batting average over the last week.
Came right back with it for a strike, 1-1. I like that from Russell. Pitcher throws a good curveball but just misses. Come right back with it again. It's fresh in his mind how it feels. 3 in a row. Martin gives it a look, but it's over the screen, out of play. Well, we mentioned Moustakas with the home runs, has 3 of them, and this was kind of unique.
How about this through the snowflakes in Kansas City? That's what they have been dealing with here the first couple of weeks of the season, having to deal with this type of atmosphere. The cold, I mean, it's brutal. There's no way you can do it, but he's had a great week. He's hit 3 home runs this week, 13 for 29 over the last week with 7 RBIs.
There's a drive deep to center, and this one's gonna go. His week continues for Moustakas. A 2-out home run, and now Garcia has surrendered a home run in each of his first 3 starts. The Moustakas home run ties it at 2-2.
We've mentioned they don't have a lot of home run pop. It's Moustakas and Duda. Went back to the well one too many times with that slow breaking ball. Moustakas timed it up perfectly.
6th home run of the season for the Royals, and Moustakas has 4 of them. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, have 21. So here is Lucas Duda. He had a ringing single off the fence in right his first time up. He scored on the double play off the bat of Paulo Orlando.
He doesn't get cheated.
That's a good fastball in a good spot. Moustakas. There you see Alex Gordon to his right in the beard. Gordon's currently on the DL with a torn hip labrum. But Moustakas had played in Kansas City, waited for free agency to hit, and then picked a bad year to be a free agent.
38 home runs, and you can't find a job. You're happy to be back in Kansas City, where he's very comfortable with everything around him, his surroundings. Thought for sure that he was going to sign with one of those California teams, maybe the Angels, but it just didn't happen.
The Angels did a nice job of striking early, getting Zach Cozart to play third base, the former shortstop from the Reds. And then they went out and added some more depth when they brought in Ian Kinsler to play second, so they were well set on the infield.
And they got that guy Ohtani, too. Turned out to be a pretty good deal.
There's a drive, and it's headed toward the fence and hits the second deck for a home run. Back-to-back home runs for Kansas City. We mentioned they had 2 home run hitters, and they both cash in here in the third.
Yeah, that's why it was important to keep the guys off base, because these are the only 2 guys that so far this year have hit home runs for them. And they go back-to-back.
First time Kansas City has scored more than 2 runs on the road this season. And it's the 2 big bats that come through. Lucas Duda.
Oh, I tell you, he doesn't get cheated. Woo! That ball's in the inner half, trying to go back up and in, and he turned on it.
Duda has had 2 30 home run seasons.
He singled his first time up on a fastball down and in. They wanted to go away, and that ball was up there for him. Like to have that one back if you're Jaime Garcia.
Duda hit 30 home runs last year in his time between the Mets and the Rays. Had 17 in New York. This is home run number 3 for Duda off the facing of the second deck in right. Jorge Soler with a 1-1 count, the right fielder. He singled to center his first time up. Changeup for strike 2. Kansas City came into this game with just 27 extra base hits. They have 2, of course, with the back-to-back home runs. Breaking ball called strike 3. So Garcia ends up striking out the side, but back-to-back home runs with 2 outs off the bat of Moustakas and Duda. And Kansas City has the lead.
Playoffs. Winnipeg Jets taking on the Minnesota Wild. This is game 4. You can see that tonight right here on Sportsnet at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. The Wild roared back with a vengeance in game 3. Can the Jets regain their form in the state of hockey? Jets and Wild game 4 that's tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And then it's Washington at Columbus. You can catch that right here on the network.
Lots of action all coming at you a little later on. Well, the Blue Jays playing from behind. It's 3-2 Kansas City, and Steve Pearce is behind 0-2 quickly. Pearce singled to right his first time up. Skoglund gave up a single in the second and a 2-run home run in the first, but now he is pitching with the league.
Blue Jays hit the ball hard last inning, but didn't have anything to show for it. Pilar lined out to center. Grichuk got a hold of the ball and drilled it deep to center field, and then Travis was robbed of a hit. So they weren't fooling him last inning.
Steve Pearce with 3 homers and a pair of doubles has 5 extra base hits. Called strike 3. The fastball on the outside corner. 1 away. Teoscar Hernandez made his season debut Friday night in Cleveland, and he made the most of it.
Yeah, he came up with an at-bat against one of the best relievers in all of baseball. And that hanging slider, he rips down into the corner that will give the Blue Jays the lead. Steve Pearce scored on that one, and then for good measure later on in the game, taking this ball deep to center field. Shows you the type of power that he has. He can go down and get that ball, and there's a different sound when it leaves his bat. creates a lot of bat speed, and the ball really jumps.
Ball on the strike to Hernandez. Hernandez playing in left field. He struck out on a 1-2 fastball his first time up.
You know, there's going to be some of that, I think, in his game. There's going to be some swing and miss, but remember, he's a young player that's just learning the league, learning the pitchers, learning himself also. So he'll have some swing and miss, but he'll do some special things for you, like we saw in Cleveland the other day. That at bat against Andrew Miller was very impressive.
Miller threw a breaking ball, looked like it could have been strike 3. It was in that at bat, and then the next pitch threw him another breaking ball, and it hung, and Hernandez hammered it.
Yeah, it hung, and he made the adjustment. Yeah, you know, maybe he popped that ball up. He didn't. He swung right through it. Had a good pass at it, as they said.
Fouls that ball off. Hernandez hit 8 home runs last September after being called up from the minor leagues. He actually hit his first home run right here at Rogers Center as a member of the Houston Astros back in August of 2016. Hit that off Francisco Liriano,
the guy he was traded for.
You know what? He fouls off that pitch, but the last 2 pitches reflect the growth of Hernandez as a hitter. He was able to check that pitch inside, foul it off, then he fouls off a borderline pitch upstairs. When we first saw him, there was a lot of swing and miss with 2 strikes.
I'm sure he's going to get some type of off-speed pitch now after 2 hard fastballs. Slider.
Cuts his swing down just a bit with 2 strikes now. It's interesting to watch young players like Hernandez, who's just 25 years old, gain experience with every at bat. That was off the plate. He swings and misses and strikes out. 4 strikeouts so far for Skoglund.
Second time that he's gotten Teoscar an 8-pitch at bat that time. It's like he turned the ball over just a little bit. Ball going down and away.
Justin Smoke flying out to center field his first time up. Smoke is now 0 for his last 11. He's reached base in 13 of the 15 games he's played so far. Fouls that one into the seats down the right side.
Nice catch. So you come to these double headers, there isn't that many fans there. You got that whole section to yourself.
Yep, you got to move around and cover a lot of territory. Sharply hit past Escobar. Boy, he let that ball play him, and it cost him. He gave ground, took a step back toward the outfield, and then he tried to make a catch on a nasty hop and couldn't come up with it.
You see that a lot with teams that come in here and play here for the first time. The dirt's a little bit different. It's going to stay down. It hit the turf first. You see him looking back at the grass and then the dirt, like that ball stayed down on him, but it was covered and hit hard by Smokey.
First error of the season charged to the Royals shortstop. That's a big error because it brings Solarte to the plate. He homered his first time up. Solarte now with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs.
Got that average over 300 with that base hit.
Again, he takes a borderline pitch. He's now reached base in all 13 of the games he's played this season. That's the longest on-base streak for a Blue Jay since Jose Bautista started the season with 17 straight in 2016. An off-speed pitch.
Tell you, he's been on everything so far that Skoglund has to offer, including this. Pitch inside, and he turns on. That's a 2-strike hit.
Skoglund has been around the plate a little more consistently so far in this ballgame than he has in his previous starts. Boy, you're right, Pat. He is on everything.
He's on everything. Tried to change up again on him, and he waited back. Just not enough. He hasn't fooled him yet.
Two balls and 2 strikes. He thought it was upstairs. He's called out on that high fastball. Skoglund strikes out the side. Smoke reached on an air, and that was it. Skoglund uses that fastball very effectively. This is his 5th strikeout of the afternoon. Looked like it might have been upstairs.
Thousand fans will receive a back-to-back World Series sweatshirt when the Blue Jays host the Kansas City Royals. Note the early start time for this one, 4:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, as always, BlueJays.com.
Nice little reminder of a couple of terrific seasons, the back-to-back World Series years of the Blue Jays, 92 and 93, and you can get one of those Wednesday afternoon. Third baseman Cheslor Cuthbert had a single through the left side of the infield his first time up. Doubleheader. Moustakis is the DH. Cuthbert playing third to start this doubleheader, and there's a base hit this time. He hits it to the left side of the shortstop.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, thank goodness for a roof, although we had a postponement because of a roof issue yesterday, but it is snowing outside and winter just won't stop. There have been 24 postponements in Major League Baseball this season. For comparison's sake, last year by the end of April there were 12.
Just won't let go, will it? Wintertime. It's tough on the ball players too, and the teams. You feel like you're getting started, then you got to wait another day or two. Then you try to crank it back up and get started again, and then you got to shut it down for another day or two.
Paulo Orlando lines it to right as Grichuk did a nice job of getting an angle on that bank of lights. Getting more comfortable with every game here at Rogers Center. With one out, that'll bring Alcides Escobar to the plate. He was hit by a pitch his first time up.
Well, the first thing you want, I think, from a player is to play every day. And that's Alcides Escobar. Major League consecutive games played, 346 games started, all at shortstop for the Kansas City Royals. Started September the 26th. Pretty impressive. It's impressive until you start talking about some of the great streaks in baseball. You know, the Billy Williams streak and the Cal Ripken streak. But to play every day, a demanding position like he plays, that's pretty impressive.
It's just not going to happen anymore. I mean, it doesn't happen. And you go back to 2014, he played in 162 games as well. 2015, he got into 148 games. He was a Gold Glover in 2015 and an All-Star. But he's an everyday player, the epitome of an everyday player.
Yeah, that's what you want, guys who play every day. Jonathan Scope had his streak stopped the other day when he went on the DL. I know Joey Votto had a big one going also, and he missed a game.
Didn't the Indians have all three of their infielders play every inning? Kipnis, Lindor, and Ramirez. I think they all have played every inning, and they are in
this
Puerto
season.
Rico.
Yeah,
this season.
This season. Yeah.
Garcia with a 1-1 count on Alcides Escobar. Well, I'll tell you what, Ed Hickox is having a tough day, both sides of the plate. And it's been kind of a conversation ongoing between Russell Martin, the home plate umpire. And I think it's been for both pitchers. Good pick by Martin.
Let's see if they start that runner over at first base now. 3-1. Just one down. Cuthbert's got average to above average speed. Escobar can handle the bat. They might be aggressive here now that they have the lead and start the runner.
Not going here, and it's tapped foul at home plate. I agree with you, or you wouldn't think that because they haven't scored many runs, they might roll the dice a bit. This team doesn't strike out a lot. Coming into this game, they had just 96 strikeouts all season long. That's the fewest in the majors. So far, Garcia has recorded 4 strikeouts this afternoon, so they are at an even 100 for the season. 3-2, 1 out. And there he goes. Got a late break. Martin's got a shot at him. Nice play by Diaz, the shortstop. He hung in there and took the low throw on one hop and put the tag on Cuthbert to end the inning. So it'll go down as another double play, a strike him out, throw him out. Watch the shortstop. He gets position. He's camped out, takes the short hop, and tags out the runner to end the inning. Yes, that's what it looks like outside, but it's very comfortable inside Rogers Center. And we have a pretty good ball game going on. Kansas City has a 3-2 lead for the first time this season. Kansas City scored more than 2 runs on the road. This is their 6th road game. Russell Martin's trying to get things going here in the 4th.
What a play to end last inning. He had to hesitate because he had to catch the ball first of all, make sure he cleared himself so he didn't run into that swing, and then deliver the strike to pick up the double play. Diaz with a nice pick on the other end.
Three and 0. Kevin Pillar lined out his first time up. He'll be next. 4-pitch walk. Not exactly what the Royals had in mind. So the leadoff man reaches. Russell Martin's aboard for Kevin Pillar. Ned Yost, we mentioned, he is the longest tenured manager in Royals history. It's in his 9th season. He also managed the Brewers from 2003 through 2008, and he was a coach for Bobby Cox for 12 seasons in Atlanta.
He knows a few things about this game. Pillar now has the whole right side if he wants to shoot for.
And Kevin can handle the bat. If he decides to shorten up, and I mean, you can hit an inside jam shot and roll it through the right side.
Yeah, just wait a little bit longer. Lead with your hands, with the bottom, the knob of the bat, inside out that ball to right field.
He was trying to do it there and went after a tough pitch. 0-2. A reminder, the number 42 is in honor of the late great Jackie Robinson. It was due to he played on Sunday, but the Blue Jays are recognizing Robinson this afternoon. Boy, there was a good pitch to hit to the outside.
Boy, if he could have stayed on top of that one, he got under it just a little bit. I am really surprised that the Royals, even with 2 strikes, are staying in their shift. And Kevin on that swing was trying to hit the ball the other way. You don't have to hit it that hard. Just get it on the ground.
Inside. That time, Skoglund pitching to the defense for sure. We're in the 4th inning. Kansas City with a 3-2 lead. One and 2 on the batter, and Skoglund made a throw to first. Russell, of course, not a base stealing threat.
I think he was just not real sure about that pitch. So he said, you know what, I'm going to throw over to first base and gather myself.
Pillar called out on strikes. That inside fastball right on the corner. That's 6 strikeouts for Skoglund.
He missed the previous pitch, went right back in there. Pillar not real happy with it. Thought that ball almost hit him.
That last strikeout for Skoglund, a career high. 6 strikeouts. His previous high, 5, he accomplished in his first big league start. That was the game against the Tigers and Justin Verlander. A 1-0 win in his major league debut.
Beat a Cy Young Award winner, 1-0. Diaz has come up with some big hits already this season for the Blue Jays.
That is just bad luck. Diaz hit it sharply, headed down the right field corner, but Lucas Duda snared it, stepped on the bag with the inning-ending double play. We have seen Diaz drive the ball the opposite field with authority, as he does right there, but Duda turns it into a double play. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. Welcome, everybody.
Good day to be indoors, that's for sure. First of two, a traditional doubleheader. They'll play the second game approximately 20 minutes after the first game. So if you're downtown and you want something to do in the early evening, come on down. It's nice and comfortable. They've got good food and cold drinks. Number 9 hitter is Cam Gallagher. He was out on a fielder's choice his first time up. Fifth inning, Kansas City with a 3-2 lead. That ball is driven into the alley in right center. Pilar is on the run. He'll get there and bobbled it, but he caught it before it made contact with the fence. Great concentration by Kevin Pilar. He got to it. It popped out of his glove, but he caught it for a second time before it hit the fence.
You know, when you run that far, and he went a long way to get that ball, the ball starts bouncing. He's slowing down a little bit, bobbled it. And you're right, he catches it before he crashes into the wall. Right there. If it goes off of his glove and hits the wall, that's a live ball. But he surrounded that. I think the Kansas City's going to take a look at this.
Boy, it looked like it hit the wall when you get a look at it. He bobbled it a couple of times, and it looked like it may have hit up against the fence. If it did, it is not a catch. There, it looked like it hit up against the fence.
That angle right there looked like it bobbled and bounced off of the wall.
It clearly hit the wall.
Yeah.
It was over his shoulder. He stayed with it and sold it to the umpire for the time being. Ron Kolpa on the left is the crew chief. He is umpiring at second base. He made the call. The next senior umpire is the home plate umpire, Ed Hickox.
Yeah,
he's also on the headset.
That one shot we had from center field looked like the ball ricocheted off that wall, and then he caught it. Now the runner should be awarded second base on that. No catch.
No catch.
Second base. Yeah. It's the right call.
Look at Ned Yost, 70% overturned. He did a nice job on that one. And, you know, this is where replay really becomes essential. because in the modern ballparks, there are scoreboards that are electronic, and there's so many things going on. It's difficult for an umpire to get a real clean look at it. In years past, the fences were very clean, and you could see a ball if it bounced up against the wall, and it's almost impossible for them to make that call on the fly.
Jay can bunt. John Jay, the leadoff hitter now, so be careful.
He squares to bunt and bunts it up the third baseline. That's going to be a fair ball. Desperation throw. It's a base hit for John Jay. Gallagher moves to third. Boy, he killed that perfectly. Hit it right off the end of the bat and really deadened it up the third baseline.
Yeah, he was with the Cubs last year. I remember playing him last year, and he tried that a few times against the Blue Jays and noted that he's a pretty good bunter. He gets the bat head out and just deadens it. Creates a lot of backspin, and he gets it on the turf, and the turf's going to eat it up also and slow it down, so no chance for Solarte to get the runner over at first base. Should be another hit. That's 8 hits now for the Royals.
Thank you. Nobody out. Whit Merrifield called out on a cutter on the inside corner his last time up. He walked in the first inning. Garcia has 4 strikeouts. He's in need of a strikeout here. First time the bullpen has gone to work. San Juan O is up.
Blue Jays are going to play it back in the middle infield. There they are right there. That's Travis and Diaz. They will concede the run. Trade a couple of outs for a run.
Popped up over near the seats, drifting towards the seats. Grichuk has room, makes the catch, tagging is Gallagher, but he'll hold. Nice play by Grichuk. He's made a couple of good defensive plays here this afternoon. He kept Duda to a long single, and now he makes a nice catch in foul ground.
You know, that's the perfect example of keeping your eye on the baseball because it's going to come back to him. Watch how far he's got to come as he's playing straight away. It looked like that ball was going to tail into the seats, but he overruns it because that ball started coming back on him. He stays right with it, keeps his eyes on that baseball, and records the out.
That's a big play as the double play is now in order, and here's Mike Moustakas. Moustakas homered with 2 outs in the third, first of back-to-back home runs. He drills that ball, and it's going to hook foul. Plenty of distance. Boy, the 2 lefties, Moustakas and Duda, they are 3 for 4 so far this afternoon. And for his career now, those 2 home runs to left-handed hitters, Garcia has surrendered 22 home runs to lefty hitters.
That's the surprise out of this whole thing, is the home runs to lefties. His last 3 home runs have been given up to left-handed hitters. Joey Gallo got him back in Texas in his last start.
Check swing foul, 0-2. Kansas City came into this game having sent 243 righties to the plate without a home run. The only 2 home run hitters they have on their roster are both left-handed, Moustakas and Duda.
Hit a breaking ball out last time. If you throw a breaking ball, keep it off the plate.
Well, he got away with one there and left that hanger on the inside. Ed Hickox took the foul tip off the mask. Boy, he cut down his swing with 2 strikes. Shortened up.
He's become a good breaking ball hitter early in his career, especially off of lefties. They'd spin a ball up there and he'd get himself out.
Oh, 2, 1 out. Popped him up. Martin's got room. Foul ground. But a big pitch by Garcia. Couple of pop outs After Kansas City had runners at first and third, now he's an out away from getting out of it.
Yeah, but he's still not out of it. You got the big lefty in Duda, who's already 2 for 2.
A home run Duda hit in the third inning was his second career home run against Garcia.
Slider that stayed up, hit it off the second deck and onto the playing field. Nevin Travis, the second baseman, is going to play in short right field now with 2 outs. He has got to give some ground.
First pitch curveball.
Here's Devin out in short right field. He was out there this morning, taking ground balls off the turf, simulating the throws from that deep, anticipating this situation right here.
Down and away. Gallagher is at third. He was initially called out, ruled a catch by Pilar in center. The video review overturned the call on the field. He ended up at second with a leadoff double. John Jay, after the double, dropped down a perfect bunt, so it was first and third, nobody out. Then Merrifield popped out to the right fielder in foul ground. Moustakas did the same to the catcher. 1-2. Garcia trying to get out of this jam.
This is where scouting reports become so important. It's a huge pitch for Jaime Garcia with a couple of runners on and a home run hitter at the plate. Where can I go to get an out?
Fly ball to center. This will get him out of it. Pilar is there, and what a job by Garcia. He gives up a leadoff double, the bunt single, first and third, nobody out, and he strands them both to keep it a one-run game.
Ball with a country twist on Saturday, April 28th. The first 20,000 fans will receive a plaid raglan shirt. Pre-game performance by Canada's top country duo High Valley in the WestJet flight deck. For tickets, as always, visit BlueJays.com.
Country Day, always a fun time at the ballpark, so make sure you put it in your calendar and come on out to Rogers Center. Big inning for the Blue Jays. 8-9-1. And Randall Grichuk hit the ball sharply, as did Devin Travis in their first go-around.
Yeah, a couple of good signs, and if these two can get on right here, turn that lineup over. Pierce has had some good at-bats so far today. So has Justin Smoke. So the key is get these guys on early.
As a ball that's going to drop as Grichuk is headed for second. Here's the throw, and he's there standing up. That's a stunt. He got jammed, and he flared it into center. And he'll end up with his second double of the season, his third extra base hit.
Yeah, he ran it into a double. The outfielders, I noted that early in this game, play very deep. Left field, center field are playing very deep on the artificial surface. Grichuk got jammed just a little bit on that cutter, hit it off the label, and floated it into center field. Orlando gave ground, and that's all Grichuk needed to get himself into scoring position.
So Devin Travis grounded out to the third baseman, a sharply hit ground ball. He turned into a fielder's choice. That ended the second inning. Well, this is a good at bat for Travis because there's a runner in scoring position. It really plays into his strength, hitting the ball on the right side of the field.
Yeah, you're not giving yourself up. You're trying to hit the ball the other way with authority. You're trying to get yourself a hit even back through the middle. And that's his strength.
Ball on the strength. We're in the fifth inning, and the Blue Jays have been a very strong second half of the ball game team, but they don't want to wait too long. They trail by a run, 3-2 Kansas City. Driven to right. So they're backing up. Grichuk tags at second, and he'll move up. Productive at bat for Devin Travis. He drives it deep enough to right to move the runner along.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
So Kansas City elects to draw the infield in. Kind of a surprising move here. Bottom of the fifth, but they've been scuffling to score runs. They have scored 3 and have a 3-2 lead. Top of the order, Steve Pearce has singled and struck out.
Hitters love to see this. Infield in, especially if you're a right-handed hitter and a lefty on the mound. Infield in just opens up a lot of holes.
What do you do as a hitter in this situation? What kind of pitch do you look for?
I'm looking for something out over the plate right now. Early in the game, I'm looking for something out over the plate that I can hit back through the middle or drive to the gaps in left center or right center.
They're set up out over the plate, and Pearce delivers. Just like that, Pearce gets an RBI, second hit of the afternoon. Grichuk comes in to score after he hit a double, and it's a 3-3 game.
I think you give yourself a chance to be successful with the infield in, and you eliminate some problems in your swing if you look out over the plate and think big part of the field. That's what Steve Pearce does as he picks up the run by slapping that ball to right field. You got the infield in. You want to elevate the baseball. You don't want a ball on the ground with the infield in. And he cashes him with that hit.
Blue Jays continue to deliver big hits with runners in scoring position. This time it's Steve Pearce, and what a nice start to the inning by Randall Grichuk.
He ran himself into scoring position, sets up that whole inning. He can go to third on the long fly ball. They bring the infield in. That's to the benefit of Pearce. And Steve cashes him.
Teoscar Hernandez has struck out swinging both times he's come to the plate. Devin Travis had a productive at bat, certainly caused the infield to be drawn in with the runner at third and just one out. He flied out to right field. Past the diving second baseman into center for Hernandez. He's aboard. 3 hits in the inning here in the fifth, as the Blue Jays are getting their third look at Eric Skoglund.
Yeah, and that's got them shuffling out in that bullpen. And the manager and the bench coach go into their scorecard. The Grichuk at bat set this whole inning up by getting on base. And now you turn the lineup over with a runner on and back-to-back hits. And now the guys who are supposed to drive him in are up.
Kansas City 3 runs on 8 hits. Blue Jays 3 runs on 6 hits. Justin Smoke reached on an error back in the 3rd. His 3rd at bat against Skoglund. Base hit through the vacated right side of the infield. They're waving Pierce around 3rd. He's going to score, and there's the throw back to the infield. So Smoke takes advantage of the shift by Kansas City. 4 hits in the inning, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
And he says, okay, you're going to pitch me that little sinker down and away, that changeup down and away. I'm going to take advantage of it. I don't have to hit it hard. I just have to get it over to the right side of the infield. He's going to pick up his 11th RBI of the season. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. Smokey cashes them to give the Blue Jays the lead.
11th RBI of the season. Hernandez goes first to 3rd. And here is Solarte. He homered in the 1st. Solarte has had 3 multi-home run games in his career. 2 against Milwaukee, 1 against Arizona. He's homered this afternoon. Ground ball through the shift again. Hernandez is in to score. Smoke is headed for 3rd. Here's the throw to 3rd, and he is out. Luis Rivera immediately turned to the Blue Jays dugout and said, check that. He thought that Smoke beat the tag at 3rd. But what an at-bat by Solarte.
They're taking advantage of what Kansas City's given them. If they're going to play 3 infielders on the left side of the infield, leaving that whole hole open on the right side, take advantage of it. Solarte gets another RBI. That's 3 this afternoon. Here's the play. Can't really tell from that angle right there where the tag was made, but you can see Luis Rivera right away.
Well, the Blue Jays are going to ask for the review. Rivera adamant as he called Smoke safe himself. But they're going to go to the review. The call on the field is that Smoke is out at 3rd, thrown out by Orlando, the center fielder.
It was a high tag. Question is, did he have his spikes on the bag? They're on the bag. Where did the tag happen? Louis says no. And even Justin Smoke is saying, hey, take a look at this one. The high tag up around the hip area. The tag is there. Too tough to call for me to change.
John Gibbons, his 38.2% of the calls overturned, but they're going to check on this one. For Solarte, his 3rd RBI, his first multi-RBI game of the season. He has 2 hits, he's homered, and has an RBI single.
I'm going to really have to slow that down to see where that foot, when it hit the bag and when the tag was made. It's tough from behind here because you get blocked off by Smoke's leg.
Well, Smoke does a good job with the straight leg slide because he extends that straight leg and gets to the bag as quickly as he can.
There's the foot out. There's the tag. When you go back and look, it looks like the foot is on the bag, but too tough.
Call stands. Ron Copley, crew chief, second base umpire, held up the fist in the air. Smoke is out. 8-5 on the throw. Solarte with the RBI single. A 3-run inning for the Blue Jays. They've taken a 5-3 lead here in 5th.
Solarte taking advantage of that defense, slaps the ball the other way. That's probably going to straighten out that defense, I think, the rest of the way.
Russell Martin has struck out and walked in his 2 plate appearances. For the analysts that talk about 3 times through the order, boy, it's played itself out here in this inning. Grichuk batting for the 2nd time, led off with a double, but then Pierce hitting for the 3rd time. He singled, Hernandez singled, Smoke singled, and Solarte singled. 3rd time through the order. Blaine Boyer is standing by, appears to be ready in the Royals bullpen. Kansas City has lost 5 in a row, and they had a lead. Dale Swaim is the bench coach, formerly the hitting coach of the Royals. He's now the bench coach for Ned Yost. Martin pulls it, shortstop in the hole, long throw in time, and that ends the inning. But the Blue Jays got it started. Rando Grichuk with the leadoff double. They scored 3 runs. Solarte's had a big day so far, and the Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. Oh, coming into the ball game to start the 6th.
The new baseball podcast, A Swing and a Belt with Dan Shulman. Go behind the scenes with personal stories from the game. And Dan is with our Ben Wagner and Mike Wilner calling both games of this doubleheader, Buck, over on our Sportsnet radio network.
Indeed they are. Ben Wagner and Dan Shulman doing all the action. And yes, sir.
He knows
You're
when he's on TV.
Well, yeah, he's a TV guy. Of course, the Blue Jays now with the lead. They go to the bullpen. It'll be the 8th appearance of the season for Sun Wong Oh.
In his first appearance since April 11th. That's when the team was down in Baltimore. Through an inning, gave up a couple of hits, had a couple of strikeouts. It took him 22 pitches to get through that inning, but he didn't give up a run. He's been a valuable veteran in that bullpen for John Gibbons, and Gibby goes to him in these situations right here. He needs a bridge now to get from the starter to Osuna at the back end. He's going to be facing some right-handers, so a little different perspective for these righties now after Garcia.
Jorge Soler takes the first pitch strike. Of course, both of these bullpens are well rested. Kansas City did not play on Sunday. The Blue Jays haven't played since Friday, so everybody has got a lot of rest and anxious to get in this ball game. O is going to be one of the more interesting relievers for the Blue Jays, as he had very limited work in spring training. He was working on a working visa and it didn't come through in a timely fashion. But he's an experienced pitcher, 2 years with the Cardinals. And Pete Walker, Dane Johnson think he's going to get better and better the more work he gets.
And he's had success when he was with the Cardinals. This should be a good matchup for him.
Breaking ball, that's going to drop in center field. Pilar plays it on a hop. Soler has his second hit of the afternoon, a leadoff single.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We wouldn't be playing outdoors without a roof, but we are indoors at Rogers Center. Cheslor Cuthbert goes after the first pitch. Cuthbert's an interesting player, very versatile for Kansas City. He's actually made 5 starts at first base. Today making his first start at third base. Moustakas has made all the previous starts at third. 92.
Yeah, a little bit better fastball for him. His bread and butter. He's got a good breaking ball. The last one he threw to Soler was just elevated. Russell wants to go back up high.
The Blue Jays bullpen has gotten off to a good start. The ERA is very good. The Ks per 9 innings over 9, and they've got 10 holds. Middle of the bullpen has been terrific, and the closer has been unworldly.
And now you got to get to him.
Bouncing ball. There'll be one play. That's to first. Solarte throws out Cuthbert on the play. Soler goes to second. Weak contact by Cuthbert. Little dribbler hit to third.
Now with a runner at second base, Russell Martin's going to come out and talk to O just to make sure they are giving the same signs, the correct signs to each other.
So the Blue Jays are charged with a mound visit. Both teams have had one mound visit, so they're down to 5. But obviously in this situation, Martin wants to make sure that they're both on the same page with the runner at second. Terry Bradshaw, the hitting coach in his first season with the Royals, going over the scouting report of O. Bradshaw, first year hitting coach. He spent 5 years as a minor league hitting coordinator. Played 2 seasons with the St. Louis Cardinals, got into 34 games. Paulo Orlando has hit into a double play and lined out to right field.
Got to get fastball in the minds of these hitters of the Royals where he can then use his breaking ball to get him out. Orlando can run. Anything on the ground, you got to be sure you can get him because he can really run.
Terrific athlete. He's listed at 6'2", 210 pounds. He's from Brazil.
He was a track guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Very versatile athlete, and he's getting better and better with more playing time. Stays on that breaking ball and stays alive. Of course, the Blue Jays former catcher now catching with the Cleveland Indians, John Gomes, also from Brazil. Andre Rienzo, who pitched a bit with the White Sox, Thiago Vieira, Luis Gohara, also from Brazil. Check swing. It's 2-2.
He had him diving out over the plate there, expecting a breaking ball.
Tyler Clippard loosening up. He's off to a good start. Don't be surprised if the Blue Jays use a lot of relievers, getting everybody back into the flow of games, having not pitched for a while. 2-2. Popped in the air. Grichuk will go to the wall, but it's out of play. Grichuk made that nice catch down the right field line off of Whit Merrifield into 5th. It was the first out when the Royals had runners at first and third.
Kept him right there, and then a pop up and another fly ball, and he was out of the inning. Now if the bullpen can hold it right here, Jaime Garcia's in line for the win because of that effort.
Jaime Garcia making his third start for the Blue Jays. His teams have never won 2 of his first 3 starts. That'd be kind of nice to pick up that second W after just 3 starts. Another 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Boy, Russell really accentuated that target on the inside corner, and O delivered.
I know O threw the pitch, but I got to give a lot of credit to Russell Martin setting up Orlando with that pitch right there. Fastball in there, he can't let it go. Russell thinking it through right on the corner for a big out.
Second out of the inning.
This is his first trip, O's first trip to the American League, so he's leaning on Russell to help him through these tough situations.
Another good fastball as he jumps ahead of Escobar. Escobar was on the front end of a strike him out, throw him out double play in the 4th inning. He struck out, and Russell Martin threw out Chesler Cuthbert at second. Boy, when you come out of the bullpen, it's imperative you throw strikes. Don't give the hitters an awful lot of information. Just pound that strike zone. They don't know anything about O.
No, there's very limited experience against O because this is his first time in the American League, and puts a lot of pressure and keeps the pressure on that hitter.
One and two. Oh, while pitching with the Cardinals, because St. Louis and Kansas City are interleague partners, has made 4 appearances, but a total of just 4 innings against the Royals. Broken bat up the middle. Diaz has it behind the bag, and that's the inning. So O gives up a leadoff single and nothing more. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. Blaine Boyer into the ball game for KC.
Streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today. Buck.
Thank you very much. Beat the Streak, a way to test your baseball IQ. Check out who the hot hitters are. Blaine Boyer making his 6th appearance of the season. He's off to a rough start. 4 2/3. You can see the opponent's batting average in the ERA not exactly where Boyer would like him.
Limited innings, just 4 2/3. He's been with the Mets and the Cardinals and the Braves, the Twins, the Brewers. We saw him last season with the Red Sox. And now this year signs with the Royals to fill out that bullpen.
Kevin Pillar fouls it back. It's a ball and a strike. Boyer's now 36 years old, originally drafted by the Braves back in 2000. He made it to the big leagues for the first time in 2005. Did not pitch in the major leagues in 2012 or 13. And he came back with the Padres in 2014.
Became a free agent this winter when the Red Sox did not sign him back. Royals signed him late. Another one of those late signings this year in February, first week of February. Signed him to a minor league contract, made the team in spring training. Fastball slider is what you're going to get from him.
Boyer went to Japan in 2013 and pitched for the Hanshin Tigers in the Central League. Pitched in relief, made 22 appearances and pitched well. Then came back with San Diego in 2014. He has pitched in a lot of different places. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pillar, leading off the 6th, way outside.
There's that slider. Still at 89 miles an hour. He was with the Royals organization for just a little bit, signed in 2012, but then exercised an out clause in his contract off the AAA team. That's when he went to Japan, you were just talking about.
You know, there was a time when you went to Japan, your big league career was over. But that's no longer the case. We have seen Colby Lewis come back from Japan and have a very good major league career once again. Cecil Fielder was the guy that really started the trend, I guess.
Who was the kid for the Cardinals? Wasn't there a kid, was that Mikolos? Somebody who went over to Japan and found his fastball, came back here. He's now pitching for the Cardinals.
He's the most recent to return, but there was a time if you had decided to go to Japan, you basically conceded that your major league career was over. Pillar's putting up a battle here against Blaine Boyer. Full count. Pulls it foul. I had a chance to go to Japan in 1984.
As a player?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I didn't want to go to Japan and admit my career was over.
Oh, because it was over.
It's over. So I stayed here for 2 more years.
Yeah. 2 good years, right? 85, you were on the 85 team?
85 and 86,
yeah.
Yep, 2 more years. Ground ball. Cuthbert at third gathers and fires across the diamond high. Cuthbert had a lot of time, but to his credit, Pillar hustled down the line, made it bang, bang, and Duda looked like he kind of short-armed the stretch a bit.
Cuthbert played 29 games last year, started 29 games at third base and made 5 errors, just 1 over at first base. This is a routine play. Gathers, crows, hops, it gets away from him, and then Duda was in between. Should I try and stay on the bag and make the play? But he has to leave the bag and it's over his head for a 2-base error.
Yeah, at second glance, Duda had no chance. It was just a high throw all the way. So Pillar ends up at second. Ledmus Diaz shows bunt and pulls the bat back. Diaz has had 2 good plate appearances here this afternoon.
Cam Gallagher is telling the bench that he heard a foul tip. Like he offered at it and foul tipped it. Take it off now. Let him swing away. He has been swinging a hot bat.
Pops it out of play. That foul tip is not a reviewable play by video review. It would be a hard one. I mean, so many of them are just deflections, and the only way you can tell is by sound. Strike two.
Diaz has an infield single today, and he lined hard into a double play his last time up. He's hit a couple of balls to right field the last couple of games.
Hits this ball to the hole. Escobar has no play. Good job by Pilar, not drifting too far off the bag at second to give Escobar a place to make a throw. But it'll be another infield hit for Diaz.
Yeah, you're stuck on in between. Should I go or should I stay? You got to see the ball through on the left side if you're the runner at second base. And Pilar thought about it. Watch him at the top of your screen. He thinks about it. And then the great play by Escobar. And he's able to get back. You're only going to move up to third base on that play.
Randall Grichuk hit a key leadoff double back in the fifth. He came around to score the third run that tied it at the time, and now the Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. Grichuk hasn't had a hit in these situations so far this season. 0 for 11. A big hit right here would do wonders for his psyche. One and two now. Swinging a drive. Get up, get out of here. Down. Home run for Grichuk. He went back to that breaking ball once too much.
I'm right with you. The previous pitch was a slider, and he saw it, but he just couldn't swing it. And I know in his mind he was saying, throw it again. Throw me that slider again. I'm going to hit it this time. And Boyer did it.
His first hit with a runner in scoring position turns out to be a 3-run home run. You can see his teammates happy for Randall Grichuk. It's been a struggle for him, and he's had a big day so far. And there's a hit for Devin Travis.
Let's go back to the pitch right before the home run. It's a slider, a little bit of a backup slider. You can see his reaction was like, throw that one again. And he does. Throws that slider. It's the exact same pitch, and Randall gets it going and shoots it out of here. 3-run homer. What a great feeling that's got to be.
A hustle double and a no-doubt home run for Randall Grichuk. He's 2 for 3 so far, and the Blue Jays now have an 8-3 lead. So Curtis Granderson will be announced as a pinch hitter, batting for Steve Pearce. So Pearce, a 2 for 3 afternoon with a couple of runs scored. He drove in a run in the fifth, and Curtis Granderson sporting the shoes. Doesn't look like he's got his Robinson shoes on, does it?
The Robinson Dolby shoes. One was pink and one was blue.
He was anxious to display those shoes in honor of Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby. There it is. Doby, Jackie. Larry Doby, the first African-American to play in the American League. Fly ball to right. Paulo Orlando gets there. Tagging up is Devin Travis, but he has to hold as Granderson flies out to center as a pinch hitter.
It's just the first out of the inning. Blue Jays roughing up the bullpen.
Kansas City's bullpen has been struggling. The start of this game, they're last in the American League in ERA at 6.26, and that's going to go up. Teoscar Hernandez singled back in the 5th. Wails at that first pitch.
Yeah, got a little long on that swing. Been staying inside the ball and hitting the ball with authority. It looked like he was trying to get number 1. First home run of the season with that swing.
Remember, the Blue Jays, when they score 4 or more runs this season, have a perfect 8-0 record. And now they have doubled that up at 8-3. There's a drive down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Into the corner. Travis is being stopped at third as Hernandez has another double. His 3rd of the season, and it's just his 2nd game.
Yeah, he's got some extra base pop in that bat. On a line down the left field line. Because the ball was hit so hard and the left fielder Jay played it so perfectly, Travis can't score. Stayed back on that breaking ball nicely. Watch how Jay gets the carom and gets it in. Travis is not at third base, so it's wise to hold him up right there. You've got the middle of the lineup coming up, your big boys. I don't even think Smokey's going to have a chance to swing it now with the first base open.
So they give him the intentional pass. He'll go to first base. So the skipper, Ned Yost, is on his way to the mound. They've got a right-hander up, Bert Smith, and there's the call to the bullpen. So the problems continue for Blaine Boyer. He came into this game with an ERA of 23.14, and he had a rough outing. Bert Smith into the ball game to face Yannervis Solarte. The bases are loaded. 3 runs in this inning. Solarte's already driven in 3 this afternoon.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. You can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Welcome to a winter wonderland outside, but boy, is it summertime inside. The Blue Jays have 8 runs on 12 hits and the bases loaded and 1 out for Solarte. Birch Smith delivers a first pitch strike.
That's 4 games this season for Smith. He's got a good fastball with some cutting action on it. That's why you see the 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got a pretty good arm. He's been with Tampa. He's been with San Diego. The Mets traded Smith to the Royals this past December. Made the team out of spring training. He's got a fastball and a slider. Got a pretty decent curveball also. You might see it now with 2 strikes on Solarte.
Curveball, just foul.
Pretty good average with the bases loaded. Now he needs his first grand slam.
The Blue Jays are 6-0 when they have multiple home runs, as they've had here this afternoon. Outside. Lefty Aaron Loop cranking it up for the Blue Jays. As we mentioned, they'll probably have a parade of relievers out there just to get them into a game here in game 1 of this doubleheader.
Yeah, I would, just to get them out there and let them compete again.
Boy, Solarte takes some good pitches. Seeing the ball very well. He has homered and had an RBI single in his 3 at-bats this afternoon. Solarte's average at a .311.
Trying to add to his RBI total.
Blaine Boyer recording just 1 out and gave up 4 hits and a walk. 2-2 pitch. He covered that outside pitch. Solarte has 3 RBIs, a season high for him. His career high in RBIs. He drove in 6 against the Cardinals in August of last season. He was 3 for 5, a pair of doubles, a home run, and 6 RBIs. 2-2 pitch. Popped it up into shallow center. Travis is tagging at third. Here's the throw to the plate from Orlando, and he comes in to score. So another RBI for Solarte. He's driven in 4 as Travis scores on the sac fly.
Orlando already has 1 outfield assist today. And he got Justin Smoke earlier at third base. He was trying to get number 2. But the ball kept drifting on him, sending him deep. He'll pick him up. How about those numbers for the Blue Jays with runners on base?
They've done a terrific job hitting with runners on, nearly 300. They've got 11 home runs in both situations with runners on and bases empty. And they've hit 2 more home runs here this afternoon. Russell Martin. Martin is 0 for 2 with a walk.
This whole inning started after the error to the first baseman. Blue Jays taking advantage of the error.
Boy, the errors, they just really compound a situation. As Boyer came into the game, looked like he had a routine ground out to start the inning, and Cuthbert threw it away.
I think if you have, pitchers that can come in and just blow the ball by guys to cover up the errors or the mistakes from your team, that helps. I think somebody hit a ground ball into the dugout, so he's protecting himself.
Gift taking a little measure of protection. Borrowed Luke Mailey's mask. Russell Martin walks for a 2nd time this afternoon, and the Blue Jays have batted around here in the 6th. Kevin Pillar started things off. Reached on the air by the 3rd baseman Cuthbert. And a frustrating start for the Royals this season. Came into this game with a 3-10 record. Having lost 5 in a row, the bases are loaded for Pilar. Hernandez, Smoke, and Martin. Pilar goes after the first pitch. Duda will get to the wall. It is just a few rows back out of play.
Well, one thing I have noticed after the Blue Jays have taken advantage of the shifting, or the overshifting, if you will, by the Royals, they're starting to straighten out the defense once again. There's the second baseman, Merrifield. Bases loaded, Pilar at the plate. Remember, they were playing with 3 infielders on the left side. Now straight up. That'll open up some holes for you.
There's that late breaking curveball. It's 78 miles an hour, but a sharp break. Now it's 0-2. 2 outs. 4 runs in this inning. Capped off by a Grichuk home run. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Brando Grichuk with his first multi-hit game of the season has a double and a 3-run home run. Two and two now.
He has a good breaking ball. He thought he had Pilar on that last pitch. Kevin's got a second chance at him now.
Driven down the left field line. Hernandez is in to score. Right behind him, here comes Smoke. Martin stops at third, and Kevin Pilar delivers a 2-run, 2-out double. Pilar's 4th double of the season. It's a 6-run inning.
And that's how you take advantage of it. You get a second shot, do something with it, and he wrote that double to left field. Sat on a breaking ball. They tried the curveball, go right back to that curveball. This time it's thigh high over the middle of the plate. That's 2 more RBIs for Pilar. That gives him 7. That's called a ringing double to score 2 runs.
Aledmus Diaz, he's 2 for 3, and robbed of his 3rd hit on a nice play by the first baseman, Lucas Duda, in the 4th. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays season high in runs, 14 against the White Sox here on April 3rd. And also produced a season high 15 hits.
Well, now we know what they were doing the last few days as they were getting rained out and missing games. They were taking some BP.
Hitting in the batting cage.
Yeah. Some good approaches in this inning.
High fastball as Diaz strikes out. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays send 11 men to the plate. Put up 6 runs. Big blow in the inning. Randall Grichuk with a 3-run home run. His 2nd of the season. Part of a big afternoon for Grichuk. 2 for 3 so far today. Authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Big afternoon for the hitters in game one of this doubleheader. Randall Grichuk, his first multi-hit game of the season. He has doubled and hit a 3-run home run. He's 2 for 3. And that's got to make him feel a little bit better. Over to the bullpen once again as Aaron Loup makes his 6th appearance of the season.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about pitchers wanting to get into the game and chomping at the bit. I'm going to put Aaron in there because he hasn't worked since the 8th. That was the game that Jaime Garcia started down in Texas. So it's been 9 days for Aaron to get out there, and he starts him off with a strike.
Oh, goes an inning, gives up a hit and has a strikeout.
Watch out.
Well, you could hear somebody sound like Russell Martin hollering "look out" to the fans as those balls rocket into the seats. It looks like everybody is okay. Lots of smiles down there. 0-2. Loup facing Cam Gallagher. Gallagher had an interesting double his last time up in the 5th. He had a high fly ball to the warning track and right. Kevin Pillar caught it, bobbled it, caught it again, and he was ruled out. But it was overturned after the Royals asked for a video review, and the ball struck the wall before Pillar grabbed it for a final time.
Yeah, on the review, you could clearly see that it hit off that auxiliary scoreboard in right field. So Gallagher was awarded second base. Loup's been better against right-handers this year than left-handers.
There's a fly ball to right. Grichuk circles under it and makes the catch. One away.
Aaron's been able to get that fastball in on the right-handers this season and then drop that changeup down and away. A little bit more effective lefties this year, 4 for 5 against him.
Well, naturally, he's going to face the toughest left-handers. They bring him in the game because you've got concerns about the matchup, and he's given up 4 hits in the 5 at-bats he's faced the lefties. Gets ahead of John Jay. Jay dropped down a perfect bunt base hit back in the 5th his last time up. That's the pitch that will allow Loup to have more success against lefties. That big breaking ball.
Yeah, if you can spin it and put it in a good spot. He's successful against righties because he can spot his fastball and use his changeup. Now against lefties, you got to change up just a little bit and use that hard breaking ball. This time it looks like he's going to go upstairs with the fastball.
John Jay is now 33 years old. He's from Miami. Drafted out of the University of Miami by the Cardinals in 2006. Smoke will go to the bag and beat Jay there. 2 away.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
First game of a doubleheader, and the Blue Jays have an 11-3 lead. A reminder, the Blue Jays will start Joe Biagini in game 2 as they have called him up to be the 26th man in this doubleheader. That's a new rule implemented in the 2012 season that during doubleheaders, teams can call up a 26th man. And if the doubleheader was scheduled less than 48 hours, they can only call up 1 player, and he has to be added for the second game of the doubleheader. But if the doubleheader is scheduled more than 48 hours in advance, you can call up a 26th player for both games. Whit Merrifield rips it down the left field line. That'll go into the corner. And he's headed for second with his third double of the season. It comes with 2 outs.
He also has to be on the 40-man roster or be added to the 40-man roster that day. Doesn't have to necessarily be a pitcher either. Fastball inside. Merriweather, I told you earlier, he's got a little pop, so don't be afraid. He might not be real big, but he's very aggressive and can hit.
Well, here's another opportunity for Loop with left-hander Mike Moustakas. If he can't get out of the inning with a runner in scoring position. Moustakas is 0 for 2 against Loop. That always helps a first pitch strike.
I think if you're reading bats right there and you're watching Mike Moustakas, you can see his approach against Aaron Loop. He's looking something off speed.
Fastball into the hole, and Diaz knocks it down to save a run for the time being. Moustakas, you're right, it looked like he was looking slider, got beat by that fastball, but hit it in a good spot.
It'll go as an infield hit. Again, he's raised his average over 50 points in the last week. Add to that a multi-hit game here. Inside out swing. Diaz saves a run by keeping that ball on the infield.
Moustakas' average now up to 339. Started the game at 327. Lucas Duda, he's 2 for 3.
Same approach.
Fastball hit to left field. Hernandez makes the catch and Loop gets out of it. He strands a pair as we'll go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Blue Jays with a big lead here.
For the first time since he was non-tendered by Toronto. Goins told me he was actually hurt and disappointed by the decision. He said he wasn't happy as we listened to the crowd greet Ryan Goins back home.
Goins played 5 seasons with the Blue Jays, and he had a great year last year. Had over 60 RBIs. Brandon Grichuk hit a breaking ball out of the ballpark off of Smith his last time up. Check that. That was off Blaine Boyer.
2 sliders in a row, and he cranked number 2 of the season.
Boy, again, the Blue Jays have done such a great job with runners in scoring position. They're 6 for 8 this afternoon. It's been a real strength early in the season for this lineup. Grichuk fouls it off.
It's funny, too, isn't it? Last year they couldn't buy a hit with runners in scoring position. This year so far, I know it's early, their approach looks great at the plate.
It's a mindset. You go up there and have determined at bats. Gonna try to elevate this fastball and just missed Grichuk. And you know, the Blue Jays have been able to score consistently lately without Donaldson in the lineup. Now he's on the disabled list, but Brooke Jacoby has incorporated a pretty good approach into his hitters' minds.
So
you know, they do strike out a lot, but they've had good at bats with runners in scoring position.
Good at bats where they make contact. They struck out 5 times early, 5 times through the first 3 innings, just twice in the next 3 innings.
Another thing that really plays well into their offensive attack is the fact that they have 10 hitters that have homered this season. Only the Angels have more. They have 11 home run hitters in their roster. This is popped up behind home plate. Gallagher, the catcher, makes the catch. Grichuk's retired.
Well, and they might be getting a hitter back this week. Saw Kendrys Morales out here today running, and talked to him afterwards. He says, I feel great. I'm eligible to come off the deal. I think he said the 2nd day in New York, so that would be Friday. So the Blue Jays might have to make a move to get him back on the roster.
Well, he had a chance to reunite with his former teammates with Kansas City prior to the start of this game.
Very popular in Kansas City. Very popular.
Devin Travis, 1 for 3. Devin singled and scored in the 6th. Blue Jays sent 11 men to the plate. Scored 6 runs on 5 hits. Bullpen continues to work here in game 1 of this doubleheader. John Axford loosening up.
Not again.
Same hand. Devin got hit in Cleveland. Check swing, same type of hit by pitch. He got hit in the 9th inning on Friday. Matt Belisle, a right-hander, and it looked like it hit him just about in the same spot.
He starts his swing and he just can't pull his hands back in time. That one looked like it might have got him more on the fingers after watching that replay. But he starts his swing and he just can't pull it out of the way of that fastball up and in. Man, that's a bad feeling.
Yeah, he is looking more at the fingers. The previous time he was hit was more at the base of the hand.
Right around the wrist area, and he had x-rays on that and no broken bones. Anytime you get hit in the hand, that's scary.
Curtis Granderson entered the game as a pinch hitter.
That fastball's coming in. He starts his swing. It looks like it, yeah, the thumb or the little pinky finger.
Granderson pinch hit for Pierce in the 6th and flied out to center field. Curtis has yet to swing at a first pitch this season. I asked him about that. He said, yeah, I want to see some pitches. And he's had several 3-2 counts, but he says now we've got to win those 3-2 counts. Get some positive results.
He got one in Baltimore. I know that game-winning home run that he hit.
In a 2-1 ball game. Foul chip. Catcher couldn't hang on. Granderson and Lucas Duda, the first baseman for Kansas City, were teammates with the Mets. And there's a great video of Granderson hanging on to Duda after it had been announced he was traded. Granderson didn't want him to go. Changeup as Curtis strikes out. Second out of the inning.
Well, when you hit 30 home runs, would you want to let that guy go? I don't think so.
Right, I asked Duda about Granderson as a ball player and a teammate. He says, I've not met anybody better. He cares about his teammates. He cares about his team. He wants everybody to do well. And on top of that, he's a good player. Teoscar Hernandez with 2 more hits this afternoon. Ground ball off the end of the bat. Mayfield throws him out. That ends the inning. So we have played 7 in game 1 of this doubleheader. And the Blue Jays have an 11-3 lead. John Axford comes into the ball game.
Edition of SmackDown will not be available live on Sportsnet 360. You will be able to watch SmackDown live on Sportsnet Now for free with your TV provider. Go to sportsnetnow.ca for details. Now, SmackDown will air on Sportsnet 360 tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're headed to the 8th inning now. Buck up to Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Hazel. As Gifton Gope has come off the bench, he'll take over at third base. And Gope is appearing in his 9th game this season. John Axford also into the ball game, the third relief pitcher to work here this afternoon.
His 7th game of the season. Started last year on the disabled list this season. First time he was on the DL. He has shown a huge fastball this year. And a new wrinkle, that two-seamer has been nasty on righties.
Axford had always been a 4-seam curveball pitcher early in his career, and he used it very well. He was a closer for the Brewers when he first came up to Milwaukee.
Ouch. That's the two-seamer right there. It's 95 miles an hour, and it just goes straight to the hands of those right-handed hitters. Tough to pull that ball.
Axford saved 46 games, led the National League in saves in 2011 for the Brewers. His second full season in Milwaukee. There's the curveball. They're going to use that a little bit more in an effort to get him into the strike zone more consistently. That's always been a very good pitch for Axford. John had 25 saves most recently with the Rockies in 2015. A broken bat behind shortstop. Diaz will get out and make a nice running catch with his back to the infield.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Russell Martin took a blow. The bat shatters and the barrel of it comes around and hits Russell.
Scary. Tell you what, that's why. Just keep burying that two-seamer in there. Those types of swings.
I don't know if that actually hit him or he was just dodging all of the shards of the bat that exploded there. Chesler Cuthbert had 2 hits today.
Man.
Boy, that is wicked. That ball is diving at 95, 96.
You know, and if you have that, I think the Blue Jays have found something here. John's been around for a long time, but you're right, it was fastball, curveball. Now with that two-seamer, and he just offsets his fingers a little bit to get the seams, to feel the seams.
Another weak fly ball into the outfield. Good check. The right fielder makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down for Axford here in the 8th.
What sets him apart from some of the other relievers is the power that he brings out of that bullpen. I'm talking 97, 98 miles an hour. Now with that two-seamer, that's a nice little weapon to have coming out of your bullpen.
Well, the luxury that the Blue Jays have in their bullpen is they have Axford and Clippard, who have all closed in the past. So you bring them into the 7th, 8th, 9th, doesn't make any difference. They're all quite comfortable. That is not a comfortable pitch. Right on the corner at 95. .96. So now you get that ball moving to that side of the plate against right-handers, and that's when the breaking ball becomes doubly effective away.
Yeah, got to put it in their minds. Got to let them see it, think about it. Then if you can spin the ball the other way. That's the curveball. But he was saying he can just set it with the horseshoe of the baseball. And it helps that he can get his thumb underneath that on a seam also. That's how he's able to throw that two-seamer in there with regularity.
Upstairs. Lots of late movement up and down. I mean, that's the difference too. You can get a radar reading say 95, but 195 does not play like the next 95.
Yeah, everybody's different. Now you add some movement to it. Mariano Rivera did pretty well making the ball move. Threw that like 100% of the time, didn't he?
Right where he wanted it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the 8th inning. Look at all those pitches. When he misses off the plate inside, and when he hits, it's right on the black. Three and 2. Another well-placed pitch. And you can hear the muted sound of contact because it's down around the label. Ryan Goins, a former Jay, waiting on deck. He has not had a plate appearance this afternoon.
If he can get that to hit the outside corner too, where the hitters give up on it, nasty. You don't know what side of the plate you have to guard against.
Hitters right now like Orlando thinking, get out of there, John. Get out of there. You're in my kitchen deep.
Yeah, I only brought so many bats on the road trip. The Royals are going from here to Detroit. So you got to pack enough bats when you're gone for a week.
They're going to stick with it. Ground ball to Travis with the big hop. John Axford has that ball running, diving all over the place. 3 up, 3 down, no problem here in the 8th. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle from the Samsung broadcast studio. Sitting type R.
Let's go back to the 6th inning with a couple of runners on base. Slider on the inside part of the plate. Randall Grichuk is all over it on a line. Right over the wall in left field. His 2nd home run of the season. This afternoon's drive of the game. 3 big RBIs with 1 swing of the bat from Grichuk.
Birch Smith continues to work. He came into the ball game with 1 out into 6 in relief of Blaine Boyer. Smoke hits it hard. Duda backhands, will flip to first for the out. Smoke's retired, 1 away. So Gift Ngope, who took over defensively at 3rd base, will get his first plate appearance. Ngope, I mentioned, hasn't had a lot of at-bats since starting the season. Ngope, his 13 at-bats, he's 1 for 13.
He's going to get a fastball. And got one right there. Timing off just a little bit. Gift a little bit behind that ball. You know, when you watch him swing, he has the mechanics that he's going to hit, in my mind. He's got a great setup. He's got good hands, quick bat. And it looks like eventually he can hit.
Gift's got 54 at bats in total last year, well, with the Pirates. Hit .222, 12 hits, 2 doubles, a triple. He's never had a big league homer. Wow. I don't care who you are, tough to hit that pitch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th for the Blue Jays.
He threw 3 perfect pitches to him. Fastball, off-speed pitch, and then another fastball to pick up the strikeout. He's done a nice job since coming in for Blaine Boyer, settling things down.
Well, and preserving the rest of those arms down in that bullpen, not having to go any deeper into the pen. Russell Martin has walked twice. He is officially 0 for 2. Martin is now 0 for his last 17. Russell's hit a pair of home runs. He's driven in 6. Then Gope and Pierce discussing Birch Smith.
Fastball, slider, changeup. He's come in. He's got a good arm.
We mentioned the bullpen for the Royals came into this game with a .665 earned run average, but there have just been 3 main culprits in that elevated ERA, and Russell Martin strikes out. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Blue Jays have an 11-3 lead.
Opportunity to go all in with Russell Martin and the Blue Jays right here on the field at Rogers Center. Tickets to the 55 Poker Classic in support of Jays Care are on sale now. Visit jayscare.com/poker to sign up and secure your spot today. Buck.
Thank you very much. It's always a great event, and a lot of consistent poker players join Russell Martin on the field for that great Jays Care Foundation event. So Ryan Goins getting a nice reception here at Rogers Center as he gets his first at bat of the afternoon. Came into the game defensively in the 7th inning. John Axford making his first multi-inning appearance since last May 23rd while pitching with Oakland. Worked an inning and a third in that outing. First time they have stretched him out.
Made it look so easy last inning. I'm going to send him back out there for inning number 2. Save another arm for game number 2.
Axford did a terrific job as he retired the side in order.
I always like to see when players come back here, the fans remember him, and they remember him fondly. Ryan Goins did some good things for the Jays when he was here, especially on those playoff teams in 15 and 16.
Ryan had a career season a year ago, and Hazel May talked about how disappointed he was that he did not get a contract offer. He had 9 home runs, a career high, and also drove in 62 runs for the Blue Jays.
Seemed like half of them were with the bases loaded. He had a great year last year when the bases were loaded.
Goins was 5th in RBIs on the Blue Jays last year. Smoke drove in 90, Morales 85, Donaldson, Bautista, and then Goins with 62.
And I think any player is going to be disappointed when you get non-tendered after having a career year like that.
Boy, there's a good curveball. Axford's been trying to get that curveball measured, and he drops one in there to retire Goins.
Bounced a couple of them and then found the release point. He's always had a good curveball. The consistency of throwing it where you need to. That time he does it. Picks up his first strikeout.
Cam Gallagher, the catcher, 1 for 3 with a double. We mentioned that Axford working for the first time, multiple innings, and maybe Pete Walker recognized how good he was in the first inning, said, let's go have him reinforce that with the second inning. He jams Gallagher as Travis will wait on the pop-up. 5 retired in a row for Axford since coming into the ball game.
Plus, I think if you're not used to it, you have to train for it. Get a good inning, go sit down, catch your breath, then go back out there.
So much of any sport is muscle memory and a positive feeling in your mind. So after he had that good first inning, send him back out there. He's a big, strong guy. And let him really get this feel embedded. Abraham Almonte, a switch hitter, up to the plate to pinch hit for John Jay. He goes after the first pitch. Gift didn't go. He's got some great hands, and that's the ball game. Axford with 2 perfect innings of relief retires all 6 he faces. Big afternoon for Randall Grichuk and the entire lineup. Grichuk with a 2-hit game and a 3-run home run. The Blue Jays put up 11 runs on 13 hits, and overall a very balanced attack for the Jays today.
Yeah, 9 of those runs in those 2 innings, in the 5th and the 6th inning when the home runs came out for the Jays, really blew this one open. They win game 1, and now we'll rest up for about 20-25 minutes and get ready for game number 2.
It will be a traditional doubleheader. Joe Biagini will start for the Blue Jays against Danny Duffy. So we'll be with you in about 20 minutes. For now, here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in Blue Jays Central.